Okay, welcome to the internNE powered by Aksarben podcast. I'm LaShonna Dorsey with the Aksarben Foundation, and today I'm here with a special guest, and you are
My name's Emily Krupicka.
awesome. Thank you for being here with us, and we're doing this on the fly, so we're going to talk close in the mic so that it picks us both up. But tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm a junior at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln studying human resource management with a minor in psychology. I'm coming up on, I believe it's my 9th internship starting next semester, so definitely very interested in kind of what this podcast is about and the foundation as well, really aligning with the mission, but overall just really excited to share my experiences and different obstacles I faced and how that's really contributed to my internships and then overall just experience at school and at work as well.
That's amazing. So 9 internships.
Yeah.
Are you in one right now?
I am. It's actually my last day this next Monday. So I'm currently a campus recruiting intern at NELNET.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, I joined NELNET last year, my sophomore year, as a human resource pathway intern, where I kind of got to go through different rotations within HR to actually see if I enjoy that. And so that was a really great experience. Came back to NELNET this year on the campus recruiting team, which I really enjoyed. But I'll be leaving this next Monday because this next February, so just in a couple weeks here, I'll actually be going to Japan to be a language intern through an experience I got to do with the UNL Global Studies Department.
That's amazing. So let's back all the way up to your very first internship. Tell us about your experience, just interviewing and like anything that you were going through at the time where you were like, is this a good fit for me? Should I do this?
For sure. So my very first internship was when I did my senior year of high school. So between that senior year of high school, my freshman year of college, so that's somewhere in between, I was a litigation research analyst intern at Bradley Law Office back in my hometown of Grand Island. I got that experience through my mock trial coach. So not really any formal interview process there. I was overall just interested in law, thought that's what I was going to pursue, but I guess realized that wasn't for me. And so during my freshman year, I was in a cohort program at UNL called the Inclusive Business Leaders. Did a couple micro internship capstone projects through that with Lincoln Public Schools and True Religion. And then that kind of inspired me to maybe pursue something in human resources, since that's kind of what those internships were based around. And so for my first, I guess, official internship, I applied to NELNET on Handshake. Honestly, didn't expect to hear back. Ended up getting the interview, went through that process, which was a very smooth process, just a phone screen and then a video conference interview, and started working there my sophomore year.
That's awesome. So one of the things I love about this story, and this is something all interns or internship candidates should know, is that your network is really key. So your mock trial coach, making that introduction to the law firm to say, hey, this is a student that has a lot of promise, and that's a trusted, trusted referral for that law firm makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So can you tell us, like, over your 9 internships, how you've worked on building your network?
Definitely. So I guess to back it up a little bit, my dad works in like public education, and my mom was a stay-at-home mom taking care of me and my brother. So they didn't necessarily have the business connections that I saw a lot of my peers in the College of Business come in with. And so I think that led to a lot of imposter syndrome, especially my freshman year of college, seeing everyone talk about these opportunities and what they're planning to do, and honestly not really knowing what I'm supposed to do. And so I remember downloading LinkedIn, also my freshman year of college, and kind of navigating that space as well. Through that platform, I had the opportunity to reach out to other people in positions I was interested in. Again, not coming in with those connections, but being able to build them, I think was something that was really important for my experience and getting into those positions that I wanted, those internships. And so kind of having that network, I think what I noticed is that something someone told me once is having the title of student is the most valuable title you can hold, because people are more willing to help you. They really see you kind of as a mentee and them as a mentor. And so when I reached out to people, they were very happy to offer their advice, their expertise, different job shadowing type of programs, and everyone's been super helpful. So definitely tapping into that network, building that network, even if it's from scratch, has been super helpful.
That's amazing. Amazing. I have so many thoughts and questions, but let's stick with, I got to stay focused here. So, how about some of the challenges you've experienced in your internships and advice you have for students?
For sure. So my freshman year of college, I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, and that was something that was definitely very unexpected. Up until that point, I hadn't really experienced any symptoms. I hadn't known anyone my age who had had rheumatoid arthritis before. And so it was during winter break of my freshman year. It was genuinely one night I went to bed, and the next day I woke up with pain in my hands, just thought I'd slept wrong or, you know, pulled a muscle or something like that. It didn't go away and ended up getting progressively worse during this time, freshman year in school, new transition and everything like that. And so I ended up in a very short span of time not being able to go to my classes, not being able to walk, and really kind of worrying as a freshman in college. I'm preparing for my future. Do I even have a future? What does that actually look like? And so that was probably the biggest challenge physically and mentally that I experienced. And again, at that time, I was worried about my ability to work. I had heard about remote working as being an option. So that was something that definitely pushed me to apply to Nelnet, that first kind of official internship. I had the opportunity to work hybrid and then kind of transition to remote as my condition became a bit more severe. And so I'm very grateful when companies, offer that flexibility, especially because I know with my disability, it's an invisible disability. And so whenever someone looks at me, the thought in their mind is, this is a very physically capable person. It just doesn't come off just face value. And so I think it's important to have those conversations with managers, with teachers, professors, just people within your network and outside of that to make sure that people are aware that, this exists. And I've just been very lucky because my employers have been accommodating to me, and I hope, that can continue in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, that openness is critical, right? So that people know how to support you.
For sure.
That's awesome. So I know you mentioned that you're now in a campus recruiting role at Nelnet, and you started off as a law intern, if I'm getting that right, or something like that. So that's pretty different. What would you say is the value of having all of these different types of experiences, from like law-related intern to campus recruiting and everything in between that you've worked on?
I think for internships, it's less about, I know I want to go into this field. And so now I want to gain experience into this field. I mean, if that's who you are, that's really great that you know that. But I think for most students, it's kind of a way to explore different career paths and not just figure out what you like, but also what you don't like as well. Kind of going into that, we're young. We don't necessarily know a lot about the different career paths out there, what that actually entails. And so being able to have an internship, you get to see what your life would be like in that role, what you would do on the day to day. And I think that's more valuable. And again, transitioning, I think, is even more valuable, understanding what you don't like to do, what you don't want in your day to day, deciding, hey, maybe this career path that I thought was a great fit for me isn't something I actually want to do. And being able to gain that experience and that knowledge, I think, is just as valuable as, gaining those skills of this is exactly what I want to do. I'm passionate about this. I see myself in this role.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And a lot of the interns I've worked with in the past have said the same thing, especially those that have had different experiences at different companies. They've gone from like startup and that sort of environment, like we're at today, we're at Turbine Flats, which is amazing, to big corporations like Nelnets, Mutual of Omaha's, things like that. So very different culture wise, but important to experience if you can, especially as an intern.
Yes.
Yeah, awesome. Well, let's see, we're down to our last minute here. What advice would you give to both employers and students, as far as like, let's go with like for employers, being a great employer for interns to work at, and then for students, making the best impression as an intern?
For sure. I think for employers, flexibility is super important, especially when talking about internships and students. I know, employers want usually a certain amount of hours per week or maybe a certain location, but it is hard to manage school with internships as well. In addition, if you have any family obligations, personal obligations, any health problems, I think those are all factors to be considered. So definitely having that open line of communication, I think, is super important. And that obviously goes both ways. But as an employer specifically, I think it's your job to kind of initiate those conversations to make sure that the intern or employee can feel comfortable coming to you with any concerns or any, problems with flexibility that they might have.
Awesome. And how about on the intern side, like making the best impression, being a great candidate and a great intern in general?
For sure. I think asking lots of questions and approaching the internship with a mindset of curiosity and just wanting to learn more in general. Again, not just about the job, but from the people who are in those positions, their mentorship, their advice, what they wish they would have known when they were in your position, because there is a lot of knowledge and wisdom that comes with that. So, yeah, just being curious overall and having the ability to learn and wanting to always be learning something.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to visit with me today and for your flexibility. I always appreciate it.
Yes, thank you for having me.
You're welcome.